does. He eats pizza and he judges people.
Yep.
I've never heard a more accurate description of myself.
All right, well, I'll just get it started. Welcome in, everybody, to episode 3 of We Talking About Practice number 5. Is this actually episode number 3?
I don't know. I lost count because I thought we had. Yeah, it is 3. It's the third one that we're putting out there, hopefully.
I'm the only one keeping track of this.
Well, yeah, because you're counting it with your fucking pizzas that you eat, bro. That's how you're keeping track.
Calories to episode ratio.
All right.
This is a good pizza, though. I will say that.
While Chris eats his pizza, let's let Nick tell us how he's doing. We'll catch up. It's been a couple weeks.
It has been a couple weeks. It's been an adventurous couple weeks, to say the least. South Florida sports has not been fun. I mean, it's been fun, but big disappointment.
Big disappointment indeed. Let's just go ahead and get into it and talk to us about this Celtics Heat series. Talk to us about this, Nick. Tell us how it went. Talk about it, Nick.
I mean, I've had a few days to calm down now because, as you both know, when this first happened, fuck Boston. I told you to do the whole show. I'm just gonna say fuck Boston, but
I'll reiterate it. Fuck Boston.
It still hurts. Still hurts.
They stink.
It still hurts. We were so close. I still believe that Strus did not step on that line. I've seen many. I am a disbeliever. You put 3 points back on there. That's a 1-point lead with Jimmy Butler driving down with 20 seconds left.
Max Strus is the new, Dallas Cowboys. He caught it.
I am still a disbeliever. I do not think he stepped on the line, but it was a great season either way.
You definitely did it.
It was a great season either way. I mean, this team is no all NBA players. Spoelstra not even up for Coach of the Year.
Which
takes a number one seed with so many injuries to make a Game 7 Eastern Conference Finals. Controversial call at the end. Boston won. Boston wouldn't say deserved it, but they were the better. It is what it is. They are playing in the finals.
You can say it. We all hate Boston here. Like, no one's going to jump in and defend Boston in this conversation.
I understand that. Yeah.
What's your opinion on the shot that Jimmy took at the end of that game?
I would have preferred him drive to the hole, maybe get a foul, get 3 points that way. But he got us that far. We wouldn't have been that far if it wasn't for him. So he's okay with it. His teammates are okay with it. I got to be okay with it.
Billings, a little disagreement there.
Sounds like some Jimmy apologist talk right now, but that was a bad shot. It was really a bad shot, and that's ultimately why Jimmy is not in that conversation with the elites. Like that shot, I think, is the difference right there. And to be fair, like LeBron had that criticism midway through his career of just like, oh, you're not Mr. Clutch. You can't take the final shot and whatnot. And so like even LeBron James had to overcome this. But unfortunately, like as much as I do love Jimmy Butler and I've followed his career throughout, like that was a bad shot. And that's a shot that's ultimately going to define you and define your career. And you got to know that. You got to know that if you're an elite player. That's the difference is you get to a certain point where you know, like, no, I should have drove that to the bucket, should have picked up the foul. And so hopefully he learns from it. Like I'm hoping that Jimmy Butler comes back better next year, but that's why he's not in the conversation with the elite talent of the NBA is some of those decisions. And like I said, to be fair, LeBron James himself had to overcome some of that. But yeah, like I was disappointed by that shot for sure.
Yeah, because
All
you could
right.
say LeBron didn't get over the hump until he came to Miami. He had all those years he was close in Cleveland, and
So
I can agree with that.
I think what Chris is saying here is the difference between Jimmy Butler and Kawhi Leonard is a bounce on a three-pointer in an Eastern Conference Finals Game 7. I think that's
You're just putting words in my mouth, but I'll
that's not
take
what
it.
you're saying.
I'll take it.
Although I would have to push back on you and say that I'm pretty sure Jimmy Butler made NBA media look pretty stupid. He clearly looks like one of the top 5-10 players in the league. I would have he's better than Jason Tatum.
I wouldn't say Jimmy Butler proved that. I would say the Miami Heat proved that. Like, let's give them credit as a team.
What? Look what they weren't in this series. Jimmy Butler was the only reason they won games.
Well, I think
Yes.
Chris is saying as a whole before Jimmy Butler
Yes.
came to Miami.
As a whole, like it's
Because I agree with you. I never thought of him as that player. Like he was always a great piece when he was in Chicago. Then he had the
Minnesota experiment.
the Minnesota experiment, and I thought he played great in Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
They were stupid. I was happy to get Jimmy Butler. Dwayne Wade approved of Jimmy Butler. I was happy to get him. But I agree with Chris.
He's a Klay Thompson. He's a Jamal Murray.
How can you say that? How can you say that after watching what he did in this series? Look at that game 6 in Boston where he scored more points than LeBron. He dominated this series.
He dominated, and I've seen him. I saw him during the bubble where he dominated. Like I know that Jimmy Butler has the ceiling for potential. It's just like I said, like the decision making sometimes where you can't have it where it's like 9 out of 10 times he's amazing and he's great, and then that 10th time he has like an absolute brain fart where you're just like, that's a weird decision, man. Like,
Well,
you shouldn't have done that.
I will say, going throughout the season, Jimmy Butler, end of fourth quarters, he has taken a lot of threes and he has missed a lot of threes. So, yeah, that was a bad shot. But I could be wrong. He had made a few throughout the game, maybe second half. Maybe he was feeling it, just going for that win.
We're playing the results too much on this. And then it's like these process nerds. If Jimmy Butler makes that shot, 99% chance the Miami Heat win that game. If Jimmy Butler goes to the hole, I don't know that Al Horford's going to foul him. He could just make a 2-pointer and tie it. And then where are you?
But those
time on the clock.
Those shots are the difference between a winner and a loser. Like, that's just the nature of sports, of just like, yeah, sometimes you get a break and you're a hero. Like, fuck, look at Nick Foles in Philadelphia. Like, dude is bona fide hero, but like he's not an elite player by any means. And sometimes you just need a guy to rise to the occasion to get you over that hump. And unfortunately, like everybody over the last couple of years has kind of seen Jimmy Butler as that guy. Like, he's just the guy that's going to get you over the hump. He's not necessarily like that NBA superstar. This year, I'll say, like, he's started to breach into that NBA superstar conversation, but like that's ultimately, like I said, the difference between being a superstar talent and being just Jimmy Butler. And like, to be fair, also, we talked about Chris Paul in earlier episodes of just like, he's in the same boat where I'm not going to say that he is just this NBA great talent, one of the greatest point guards ever, because he has these weird moments where he hasn't risen to the occasion.
Some hot takes here. Continuing to shade Chris Paul over there.
But I'm wearing the shirt of a guy that's in that same boat right now, where like clearly he is a very talented basketball player, but like, does he have like that it factor to take him to the next level?
I mean, you guys were a little different because you didn't have that the supposed second and third star, because you have Jamal Murray out the entire year, Michael Porter Jr. out the entire year, basically, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. Remember late games here.
Mm-hmm. But that's just it. Like,
But to still be able to make the playoffs, you can't put that all on him.
I can't, but like, you got booted in the first round. Like, you look at like Jimmy Butler, he carried his team a little further. There's other teams in the playoff. Like, look at Luka. Like, he carried a pretty hobbled team into the next round. Like, they were not deserving of a second round spot, but they got there because Luka rose to the occasion and got them there. And there's just like a few players, like, they're on the cusp. Like, like, they have the potential, the Jimmy Butlers, the Jokic's of the world, that you're just like, you're right there, but not quite yet. And that's the difference. That's the difference. It's you gotta win rings. You gotta get to the NBA finals. You gotta make those clutch shots. LeBron had to learn this. So I would not exclude anyone else below him to not go through the same things. Like, look at Jason Tatum. Like, look at like his rise through the ranks. It's
what is being said right now? I'm stepping in and pushing back against all of this noise and nonsense that's happening right now. First of all, I think everything that we've seen shows that Jimmy Butler is that guy. He is a superstar. If anything should be on the freaking burners that needs to go ahead and take a look, it's Heat culture and the Heat roster and the way that they built that team around Jimmy Butler. If Jimmy Butler was on the Celtics and Jason Tatum was on the Heat, the Celtics sweep the Heat. That series is over in 4 games, and Jimmy Butler and the Celtics are sitting there waiting for the Warriors. Nikola Jokic is that guy too. Look who they put around him. Garbage. These players are that good, but the rosters aren't good enough. This leads me to my next question with Luka and the Mavs. Like you said, Luka has made that move. He's made that next move as a superstar. I have no idea who you would pair Luka with to make the Mavericks better. No idea. But for the Miami Heat, Kyle Leonard? Kawhi Leonard.
I have another one for you. Trae Young. Trae Young's not a superstar. He didn't get out of the first round. He had 1 playoff win.
Trae Young isn't a superstar. Get him out of here.
But
Jimmy Butler better than him. Way better.
Yes.
Way better.
Yes.
Superstar. Miami, failure to surround with Jimmy Butler with enough to win. That's what I saw. That's what I saw. I don't know how this Celtics team got so good. I have no idea. But they played.
They tried, though. They tried with Kyle Lowry.
Yeah, they did.
They tried. Duncan Robinson contract. Kyle Lowry, these aren't win a title moves. Kyle Lowry's how old?
As a Bulls fan, you were probably thirsting for someone like Duncan Robinson at the time when the Miami Heat gave him the contract that he has now.
You may be able to have him.
Yes, we were. We had Max Strus and we got rid of him because he got injured. Yes, look at what they're putting around Jimmy Butler. If this isn't just amazing street guys, Gabe fucking Vincent, I had to learn about him while I was losing bets in February against the Heat. Come on, what the fuck? Seriously, guys, seriously. What am I hearing? Jimmy Butler slander, not here for it.
It's not even slander, it's just it's sometimes just a luck.
Luck. That's not on him.
No.
That's not on him. That's not on him.
But that affects his resume, though, of where people are like, not quite a superstar, unfortunately.
If he makes that shot, nobody ever says that was a bad shot.
But that's just it, though. If he makes that shot, goes to the finals, it is a different story. But he didn't. It was just a bad shot with some bad luck, but that's the NBA, man.
I mean, I look at it this way. The last 3 years, Boston and Miami have played twice in the Eastern Conference Finals. They've each won 1. You can't put it on either team in either series because they were both very competitive. Well, this one was competitive in the fact that one team beat the other team's ass at least part of the game, and it made the final score a lot different.
Warriors,
Well-
by the way, I mentioned this last episode. Warriors ruined the playoffs. We'll get into that later on.
Yes, I agree. I agreed with you then, and it's even more so now.
So, like, no Tyler Hero, no talk about the Miami Heat and what they're gonna do with this roster, Nick. What are
Hey,
your thoughts?
Pat
Run it back?
Riley's Pat. No, I don't. They're not going to run this back. I honestly believe. I don't know what the Miami Heat are going to do, but I believe that Bam should be playing the 4. Whether it's putting Yurtsevin in at the 5 or going and trying to get someone. But you're not going to get someone big with having Bam on your roster because it's the salary too much. You're not going to be able to trade it away unless you could find someone to take Kyle Lowry's $30 million contract. Take Duncan Robinson's $18 million a year contract. That's $48 million right there. You can go get someone.
Yeah, do you really want Russell Westbrook in a Miami Heat jersey?
Nope. I'd rather go get John Wall.
Oh
Honestly-
my goodness.
Honestly, you know who I'd like to see in a Miami Heat uniform? Is Derrick Rose.
Wow. That's a good one. He'd probably be a good player for you. You need a creator on offense. Tyler Hero, I don't know.
him and Jimmy Butler would probably get along pretty well.
I think that might be a promising backcourt. I think that could work. Maybe I don't know.
But can we really blame who's at fault here for the Miami Heat's undoing in these playoffs? Coach Tibbs. Like he drugged Jimmy into the ground too many times and it caught up with him this season. It's
All right.
It's just my personal theory. That's all.
Anyways, before we find out where Jimmy Butler is getting those HGH regenerative shots in his knees between games 5 and 6, and Chris Billings continues to talk about what's happening there. Talk to us about the Warriors running basketball.
Yeah, man. Like I felt like, and I need to dig into this eventually and maybe write about this, but like I feel like just with the Warriors kind of growth as a dynasty, like playoff games were not as close anymore. Where it's just like the one team would just get hot shooting, get like a 20-point lead, and the other team would just be like, nah, we're not gonna deal with this. We're gonna focus on the next game. And so you get these playoff games that are just like these 20, 30-point beatdowns, like back and forth, and they're never close. And I feel like that wasn't basketball when I was growing up. It was all about matchups, those individual matchups. Coaching mattered a lot more rather than just we're shooting poorly. Let's throw the white flag and live to fight another day.
Nick, what are your thoughts?
I mean, I agree with that, but I think it actually goes further back than that, and I really don't want to take blame for this with the Miami Heat. But if you really think about the LeBron years, where Spo would go to the position of lineups, where you see a lot of Chris Bosh playing the 5, you got LeBron playing the floor, you got more small ball, and then Steve Kerr and the Warriors took that concept with Draymond Green and basically fucking busted it out with all this fucking 3-point shooting of Curry and Thompson. So the Warriors did ruin the playoffs, but they had a little help.
Wow. Okay. Well,
But what about you? Let's hear the counter argument to this.
you're
Mr.
going
Devil's
to
advocate.
you're going to a history lesson where you're gonna forget about Don Nelson, Baron Davis, Monta Ellis, Steven Jackson, and them
But
Warriors.
those were close games. Those were close games where it wasn't just like, oh, Warriors by 20. Next game, Mavericks by 25. Next game after that, Warriors by 30. And like that's what I feel like we're getting with some of these playoff games. Like the Heat Celtics series should have been a lot better than it was.
The Warriors play the best version of basketball that like we've ever seen. And it's the most skillful version of basketball. And that does happen. And now with like this imitation, you're seeing where teams are just like Dallas, like other teams are like, we're not shooting well. Let's just throw this white flag in and try again. And I mean, Phoenix was kind of like that too. And I don't know. I don't know if it's going to change or if teams are going to imitate them. I mean, they did just lose a big lead, and that's like kind of how they play. It is very interesting watching that team because they do go on their runs where you're like, this is the best basketball that exists. And then they stop and they suck for like 5 minutes like they did last night. And you're like, they can't even like run a decent pick and roll to get an open shot. Like nobody can get their own shot. What's happening? It's like a bipolar version of a basketball team where you get like the best version of basketball and the worst version of basketball in the same game.
Well, it just shows like the change in basketball with like less emphasis on scoring in the paint. It's a contest of who can make the shots from the outside, basically outside of the paint, who can make the most shots rather than just like, like we're just going to keep feeding the ball into the paint and we're going to beat this team down. And I don't see that anymore. It's really just like, who can get hot shooting first. And then the other team's going to throw up the white flag. And like, that's what I feel like NBA coaching has kind of devolved to in a lot of instances. And it sucks.
Yeah, but you could still, and I hate to give them credit, but you could see that Boston was able to do that against Miami at certain points in the series.
They did. To Boston's credit, they made a lot of adjustments.
Boston did that against the Bucks as well.
Yeah, and now this first game of the series against the Warriors, they tried that. It wasn't working. So they went back, they used the Warriors against them.
Yep.
The Warriors type of basketball, because they had just seen it the series before, because Miami tried to go small plenty. So they already saw it, so they knew how to defend it. They already had close enough tape with the three-point shooting. The only difference was the Heat were not hitting them. They were still taking open shots, though. So they were able to adjust against it.
Dude, that fucking Boston team, they haven't figured out defensively.
And like, I haven't heard it, but like, credit to Udoka.
Yeah,
like, he's a good coach.
He learned under the best.
Spurs.
Yeah, like the fact that like you took over for Brad Stevens, which like he's a good coach. Like I got to give him credit for that. Like they had their ups and downs during his head coaching tenure, but I truly do believe Brad Stevens is a good coach. But the fact that Udoka has just stepped in and he's made these adjustments in these series is like all the credit in the world to him.
It's so interesting watching that team. They like literally are the most even-keeled team I've seen in a while. Like if they're winning, if they're losing, they literally don't change. Marcus Smart is under control, but they're all good defenders. They're
the Spurs 2.0, if we're like really honest. Like that's just, it is like watching the San Antonio Spurs again. We're just so even keeled, no like real like superstar talent. You know, like Jason Tatum's good, Tim Duncan was good, but they never like wowed you, or you're just like, oh my god, like this is like a generational talent. Like it was death by 1,000 cuts with them. Always.
It was just machine. The Spurs were just a machine. They did the same thing over and over again, and they would just break you down.
And that's honestly how game one looked against the Warriors, where they just beat them down over 4 quarters.
No, I don't know.
The
Warriors were stupid. Like the Warriors, they were like treating the Celtics like they were the Nuggets or they were like the Bulls, and it was some regular season game. And they're like, oh yeah, that's the third quarter. We torched you. We're up 10. I'm going to sit Steph Curry for like 5 minutes to start the fourth. And then Jaylen Brown and the Celtics just kept chipping away. Good Lords, that team hit a bunch of shots, man. Derek White's just hitting like 3 after 3 in Steph Curry's face. And I'm
hurts. It hurts. I saw it plenty. Game 6 and 7.
But if you're Steve Kerr, would you have done something different though?
Yes. Do not sit Steph Curry. Let him. What are you resting him for? What is the time? This is the time to play him. He's like your offensive creator. He's creating all the mismatches and all the points, and he's like the problem. Like he's the offensive, like the creator, the space creator where everyone gets better looks because of him. I like Jordan Poole. We've talked about the system player comment that you made for him. He definitely looked like a system player last night.
Yeah, I tried to tell y'all.
Yes, but the Celtics are the best defensive team in the league by far, so not a lot of teams can do that to Jordan Poole.
And that's just, yeah, like ultimately it comes down to defense. We're using like some football terminology here, but it looks like defense is going to win the Celtics championship at this stage right now.
Nick, are you down to agree with Chris? You're going to jump on the Celtics train?
I mean, this is all going to come down to adjustments. I do believe my namesake, Steve Kerr, will make some adjustments. And I think I still do believe the Warriors win this in 6. It's going to become a small ball series. Steve Kerr will make some adjustments. We might see some more Steph Curry.
It's a must-win game for the Warriors in game 2.
I agree with you. Draymond was bad. He was bad. I was so surprised. He was bad. Like Al Horford ate his lunch. He was bad.
You heard why he said he was bad, right?
No. What did he say?
He had just found out LeBron became a millionaire or a billionaire.
A billionaire. that third comma.
Eat shit, Draymond Green. Fuck you, man. God damn it. He'll be a great commentator, but that guy irritates me sometimes. It's just like you're saying bullshit just for the sake of bullshit.
Oh, for sure. But he was bad. I was surprised at how bad he was in that game. He missed 10 shots. I mean, that's bad.
No, you said it. Like they got their lunch handed to them in the 4th, and if I'm a player on that team, like I am not walking away from that game with any positive thoughts. I don't care if LeBron James is a fucking trillionaire. I'm walking away from that game like, oh, we really fucked that up in the 4th quarter. Like from Steve Kerr all the way down to Jordan Poole, like, nah, that was a systematic failure in the 4th quarter where you basically dominated the whole game. Playing Warriors basketball, what you've been good at, what you've built a dynasty on, and they fucking flubbed it.
Yeah, Draymond was bad. Clay wasn't good. Like he had a lot of like I watched him and I was like, what? Like, it's so weird watching him because he's not what he was, but sometimes you see flashes and so you like forget.
But we talked about this, about rising to the occasion, and I'm sorry, Steph, like you've never risen to the occasion in the finals. Like the stats prove that out, that like in the finals you basically disappear. And that's what it's going to take. If the Warriors want to win a championship, if they especially fucking want to win in 6 games, like all of us predicted, like Steph Curry needs to have a Steph Curry game.
He was on his way yesterday. I don't know what happened.
Hey, being on your way and actually arriving at your destination are 2 different things.
Yes, I know that's your view of Jimmy Butler on his way to start.
That's just any person that's taken a fucking summer road trip could tell you that, of like, oh yeah, like, yeah, we can say we're on our direction, but like, no, you actually have to arrive at your fucking destination. And I'm sorry, Steph Curry, you've never arrived at your fucking destination. You've just been hanging out in your fucking terminal for the last decade when it comes to the finals. So rise up to the occasion, do it in the fucking finals, be the superstar that everyone has dubbed you, no pun intended. But like, no, like Klay Thompson, Draymond Green aren't going to win a finals for you. Steph needs to rise to the occasion. It needs to be a combination of all 3.
Wow. So if Kevin Durant's rings don't count and Steph Curry's rings don't count, respect to Klay Thompson and Draymond Green for being the only
Yes.
three-time champions on that team. Respect to those
Yes.
guys.
Give Klay Thompson all the love. Throw him
All
in
the
the,
love.
the basketball hall of fame.
Hey, don't forget about Andre Iguodala.
Yeah,
Ooh.
yeah.
That's true.
Don't forget Iggy.
He did have one of those Finals MVPs,
He
so
did.
They definitely need to give
it's
Iguodala
more than Steph had.
Yeah.
But no, I do give credit to Draymond because his defensive skills have been like top 3 over the past 10 years. I give him credit. Klay Thompson, I give him credit because he's fought through some tremendous injuries. Sorry. And like, yeah, he's been the second guy that you need him to be. But Steph, when it comes down to it, like he has not risen to the occasion in the finals. It's been Kevin Durant. It's been Klay Thompson. It's been Draymond Green. Now's your chance, buddy. And I love Steph Curry. But like, it's just, I gotta be objective here. And he hasn't done what an NBA superstar does. I literally was just bashing Jimmy Butler for this shit earlier in this episode. Like, you got to do it, Steph.
So
step up, Jimmy.
What is your prediction now in this series, Billings?
Honestly, like after watching last night's game, my whole position has changed. I think Boston's probably going to win this in 6.
Wow.
Yeah, they're that good on defense. I'm sorry. They're soul sucking on defense.
They are. They're trouble.
I haven't watched like that's why I brought up the Spurs, is because I have not watched a team like this since the Spurs.
The Warriors themselves weren't good on defense, which was weird because they're a pretty good defensive team. Like I said, Draymond was bad. So I'd still stick with the Warriors, but I think if the Warriors are going to win, it is a must win in game 2, and they'll probably be game 7 that they take it because Boston sucks at home. They're like not good at that arena. I don't know why, but they've struggled at home in the playoffs. I know that
they renamed it. I think it's because they renamed it.
So I expect the Warriors to win at least one game there. So I don't know. I think it'll get spicy. I think it's probably going to be 2-2 and will be a game 5, and it'll be a 3-game series again.
I don't know. I had full faith in the Warriors, and now like I'm shook. I'm shook after game 1, and I think Boston, they're gonna take care of business with just pure basketball fundamentals.
Gross. All they do is fucking grind you down.
But I literally had the same conversation with the Spurs when they had their success, where I'm just like, I hate watching this team. This sucks. This is shitty basketball to watch. And I feel the same way with the Celtics, where I'm just like, I don't want to see them get further. I don't want to see them get rewarded, but like, they're just, they're playing the basketball fundamentals game, and they're nailing it right now.
All right. So we'll go ahead and we'll go ahead and see how we did on this. We'll check back in about a week. Probably a couple games have been played, and we'll touch base and we'll see what the adjustments have been made and where we're at. I think it's going to be 2-2, and I think it's going to be tied going into that game 5, which I believe is going to be in Golden State. So we'll see what happens. But thank you for watching, everyone. This is episode number 3 of We're Talking About Practice number 5. I am Tony Parlay. Joining me were this way, Chris Billings. This way, Nick Kerr. What do you guys want to promote? I'll go ahead and do
it. Be careful how you say my name. You could follow me at It's Kerr, Not Care.
Kare.
Yes.
Hey, check me out at Billings Space. If you're into movies, definitely check us out for entertainment. If you're into sports, check us out at BS Sports Desk on Instagram or Twitter.
Give us a follow, y'all. I'm at Tony Parlay. I'm exploring the TikTok avenues. It's crazy. I'm checking it out all around. You guys have yourselves a wonderful weekend, y'all.